So my newest addition to the unnecessary studio is this Tufting Gun, and I have been absolutely obsessed with making my own rugs. So today I'm gonna bust this guy out and give you a full tutorial on how you can make your own rugs. Let's go check out a few that I've already made. I'm also gonna give you guys my key tips and tricks on the things that I've learned so far making a couple of these rugs. Here is some of my collection so far. So here is the first one that I made, completely just random freehand. Didn't come out horrible, didn't come out great. The next one that I made, I'm calling the 2020 Sad Boy. I made this one in December. He wasn't sure how he was feeling. Then I created this little worm. I also added a face for a little personality, but I love the colors on this one, and this one actually came out really nice. Then I made this white and camouflage topographic inspired rug. It came out really well. I tried a few different things on this one that I'll definitely be using today. And my most recent one is sort of my best one, but also my biggest failure. So I made the Unnecessary Inventions logo, but I forgot when you're making it on this side, it's gonna be backwards on this side. So I'll definitely show you guys what you need to do so that your design doesn't come out backwards. Well, that's enough show and tell for today, so let's get our supplies ready so we can start tufting our rug. Obviously, the first thing you're gonna need is your own tufting gun. This is a cut pile tufting gun, and so this is the device you're gonna use to turn your yarn into a rug. The next thing you're gonna need is your monk's cloth, which is the fabric that acts as the backing to your rug that the yarn loops and cuts into. And lastly, you're gonna need a frame to attach that fabric to. It's just a simple wooden frame with nails sticking out so you can get your fabric extra taut when you're trying to make your rug. And you can get all three of those things in one kit at tufftheworld.com, which is where I bought all of this stuff. But let's get making. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get your monk's cloth onto the frame. You want to slowly pull all of the edges onto the nails so that there's nice tension across the entire piece of fabric, so that you can get nice consistent pressure across the entire canvas when you're making your rug. And so now that we have our monk's cloth on the frame itself, here is the design that we're going to be going with for the rug. I hired an illustrator to draw my classic Gator Grips invention for these stickers, and this is what we're gonna use for our rug design. And to get the Gator Grip design onto the canvas, I'm using this projector here so I can perfectly line up exactly where I want it to go. So this is the part that I completely messed up on my other rug. This design is completely backwards of how I want the rug to actually look. So now I just gotta take my Sharpie and outline everything so I know what to do. So now I have the design fully sketched out. I have all of the details highlighted so I know exactly where to put which colors, and hopefully the rug turns out looking just like this. Now, the only other thing we need to talk about is the yarn. One tip I would have when you're first learning how to make rugs is just buy some super cheap acrylic yarn. I bought this yarn at my local craft store for about $2, and it should be just what we need to make our rug. And that way you don't spend too much money when you're first trying to get everything sorted out. And another thing I like to do is take these skeins of yarn and re-roll them myself. So I have this little device to re-roll the yarn. You just turn the crank, and I think this helps get rid of all the tangles and knots that might be within the skein of yarn. I also like to use 2 skeins of yarn when I'm doing my rugs. That way it's a little bit thicker, and it makes it have a little bit better tension. And once you have both of the skeins, you simply load it up into the gun itself. Here's a quick preview of what it looks like. And I just made a mess. Now all you have to do is start tufting. Take your gun, put it into the monk's cloth, and pull the trigger. So I've found that tension and pressure are probably the 2 most important things when making a rug with a tufting gun. You want to make sure you have nice, even pressure and tension across your entire design so that it comes out really, really nice. Now let's go finish the outline. Okay, we pretty much have the entire outline done of the Gator Grip design. It's definitely going to take more shape once we add in all the other colors and really define these little sections here. But overall, I think it's looking pretty good. I would definitely say it's a thumbs up. As you're going, you're going to have a few strands that are hanging off. all you have to do is take a pair of scissors and cut those off. I think it definitely helps make things be a little bit cleaner while you're working. Once you get going, all you have to do is basically just keep on tufting and get all of the colors for your design done. So that is exactly what I'm gonna do. Let's do a quick break to see how things are coming out so far. I think it's looking pretty good. My lines aren't perfect, but let's check the back side. Overall, so far so good on these colors. But here, let me give you a few more tips. Another thing you can do to keep things clean while you're making your rug is grab a classic hair trimmer. You can easily use this trimmer to cut any loose ends, clean up in between the lines, and overall just figure out if there's any sections you miss that might need a little bit touching up. Also, one thing I wasn't really sure about when I first got started was how far apart all of these lines should be. It's really going to depend on how thick your yarn is. Basically, just try out some lines, go on the other side, feel it out, and you'll be able to figure out exactly how far apart you need to be. And if you need to, you can just kind of go in and add some filler every now and then. I'm going to get back to work finishing this thing up, and hopefully we have our thumbs up gator grip in no time. And would you look at that? We have our rug fully tufted out, and I think I'm kind of loving it. I probably could have been a little bit cleaner in a few of these sections, but it doesn't matter. Also, a thing I haven't seen many videos talk about, here's the mess I made. It's not too bad. And then the backside from shaving it while I was doing it. Overall, not bad. And then the last thing we need to do is just get our carpet adhesive and glue the back of our rug so everything stays in place. Again, I'll have a link to all the supplies I use down in the description. For this, all you're gonna do is put the carpet adhesive onto a spatula and then slowly spread it across the entire rug. Make sure you get from every corner to corner until the entire thing is completely filled with the glue. It is now the next day, and I let my glue dry overnight so it's no longer tacky, so now we can go ahead and cut our rug out of the frame. There's no real special method to this, just grab a pair of scissors and start cutting. However, you do want to leave about 1 inch to 1.5 inches around the entire border for the next step when we fold over the monk's cloth. Coming around for the last corner. Oh yeah, this is looking so good. Now we just need to take our brand new gorgeous rug, turn it onto its backside, and fold over all this extra fabric. It makes it a whole lot easier if you grab yourself a pair of scissors and cut this into a whole bunch of little sections. That way when you're folding it around these curved edges, you have a nice flat base on the backside. Then you want to go ahead and just grab yourself a hot glue gun and throw some hot glue onto each of those little sections and fold it over. You don't want to fold it over too tight, but just enough so that it hides itself underneath the rug. Then you just need to keep doing this around the entire rug until the extra fabric is completely hidden underneath the tufted part. Because now it is time for my favorite activity. We are down to the final steps of making our custom gator grip rug. And just like before when we used the classic hair trimmers, I also have a pair of sheep shears. These things are intense. We're gonna go ahead and use these guys to give our rug a nice haircut. This just helps give a nice finishing touch across all of your colors. It just evens everything off really nicely so that you have a professional looking rug. And that is how you make your own custom rug. Overall, I think the colors came out really awesome. This is definitely the most detailed design that I've ever done making a rug. But for being only my, 6th rug I've ever made, I'm gonna say it's not too bad. Some of the things that you can do a little bit differently is adding a felt back to make it a little bit more finished, which I haven't quite gotten into, but hopefully I'll be doing that soon. I also want to make myself a larger tufting frame, so I could maybe make this design like 10 times bigger. But I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna give this project one giant thumbs up. If you enjoyed watching me make this completely unnecessary rug, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. This year, I think I want to do more tutorials like this one and teach you guys how to do the things that I know how to do, or things that I just happen to learn how to do on the fly. I think that's all I have for you guys today. So with that, I will see you at the next, who knows what I'm gonna build.